Now, yet it will be a mistake to conclude that the American people hold largely negative views of trade with China, despite the fact that our survey was conducted in late August and early September, at a time when the American media was concentrating on the problems of Chinese product safety and the trade imbalance. Large majorities in all samples in the United States continue to believe that trade with China was beneficial to the US economy. Now, the third factor that may explain the paradox is the general public and elite groups in both countries often have different views. Interestingly, elite groups tend to misjudge the general public's views. We found that the elite groups in the United States tend to underestimate the favorable views of China held by American public, while elite groups in China have generally overestimated the favorable views of the United States held by general public. Now, nearly 2/3 of low-income Americans have a favorable opinion of China as compared to 44% in the middle and high-income brackets. Interestingly, 74% of Hispanics and 63% of African Americans have a favorable opinion of China compared to only 47% of Caucasians. Now, in China, 60% of the general public view the United States in a favorable light, compared to 86% of opinion leaders and 94%, earlier I mentioned, that business leaders. You will notice on this chart, we ask elites to assess that how the public view China, whether favorable or negative. You can see that the elites think that the public will have the 91% of favorable view of China, but the reality is only 60%. So this is about the gap between elites and the masses in their views. Now, the fourth and final factor in this paradox relates to China's rise and ongoing geopolitical and economic power shifts in today's world. When respondents were asked which country would have the greatest degree of influence in East Asia in 20 years from now, China ranked first among all samples in both countries. As you can see on this chart, that the 45% of Chinese also believe that in 20 years, the world, the superpower, who will be the world's superpower in 25 years from now. This is talk about the global. Earlier, I talked about regional. 55% of Chinese believe China will be the superpower, and United States, the number is 49. Now, many in the United States are concerned about the military, economic, and environmental consequences or implications of China's rapid rise. On the other hand, many people in China jump to the conclusion that if the United States is concerned about China's rapid growth, then it will attempt to keep China down. I believe that this is a grave misunderstanding by the Chinese. Our survey shows that an overwhelming majority of Americans welcome China playing a more important role on the international stage. There's a broad consensus among all American sample groups that the United States should accept China's growing status and seek to build a collaborative relationship with the PRC. Americans also have a widely shared belief that 2008 Olympics will have a positive impact on China, helping integrate China more fully in the international system. Large majority of all samples in the United States are optimistic about the growing middle class in China and China's transition to democracy in the future. 1/3 of Americans believe that it will be achieved within 20 years, Chinese democracy, and 1/3 believe that it will be achieved in the long run. Now, in conclusion, I would like to share a quote from Sir Francis Bacon, who once said, "Hope is a good breakfast, but it is a poor supper." Abundant evidence shows that the mutual goodwill and warm feelings exist between these two peoples. There's also strong recognition of the economic interdependence and other common interests between two countries. These are extremely powerful sources of hope. Yet, while some of the fears that each side expresses are based on temporary incidents or misunderstandings, some others are based on valid concerns. There are some legitimate concerns about fear. Now, the real challenge for policymakers in the United States and China, and especially for upcoming leaders in both countries, is to develop an accurate understanding of public opinions, not only those held by their own people, but also those of their counterparts. They need to work more cooperatively on issues that are crucial to the future of these two countries. The world will be much better off if arguably the most important bilateral relationship in the 21st century is not driven primarily by fear, but instead enlightened by knowledge, wisdom, and vision, and most importantly, hope. Thank you very much.